Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And my mouse wheel is going to break scrolling through the plethora of class changes that are coming in 11.1. And I'm going to try and cover as many classes as I can in this video. And if we can't get them all in, we're going to be uploading another video to cover them because it's absolutely bonkers. This is bigger than literally the release of the expansion. But we are going to be starting with Mage. For Mages, Mass Barriers mana cost has been reduced to 8% down from 12. Polymorph's regeneration has been reduced by 50%. So you're not going to be regenerating health nearly as fast. Polymorph now breaks on a small amount of damage threshold instead of any damage. So they're universally making these crowd control effects that break on damage, not break on tiny thresholds. So this is likely to try and combat, all the AoE damage a lot of PvP players were complaining about, breaking CC effects on talents and passive effects on single target spells, which I think is really good. If they can hit that threshold, so all those little passive AoEs that aren't intentional area of effect spells don't break CC, it's going to work wonders for players feeling like they have more control in terms of crowd control strategies. For Frostfire Mage, our updates for Frostfire Mage are focused on reducing the incentive to track auras and to make the talents more connected and conducive with each other. It's following track with what they wanted to do to reduce the necessity of add-ons. Excess fire now triggers when you cast Meteor or Comet Storm, was reach max stacks of fire mastery, so it's just more like immediate control instead of having to track it. Frostfire burst damage increased by 70%. This thing just buffed every single patch, I think, at this point. Excess frost now triggers when you consume excess fire, was reach max stacks of frost mastery, and may stack up to twice. Excess frost now casts Ice Nova at a 200% effectiveness, up from 125. Although I think I'd seen posts that they said they were going to remove the root from this, so maybe they will. The talent locations of excess frost and excess fire, isothermic core, imbued warding, and meltdown have changed. Frostfire Bolt will now properly consume overflowing energy when it critically strikes. Frostfire Empowerment is now tracked on the personal resource display. So just removing the need to kind of brain track this, and now it's like when you press Meteor or Comet Storm you're getting it. Sun Fury, consuming glorious incandescence while at or around max range, will now appropriately summon its meteorites. A little bit of bug fixes. For Arcane, we're happy with their gameplay after the 20th anniversary celebration. Our goal is to simplify the number of variables one needs to consider when casting Arcane Barrage. Enlighten has been updated. Arcane damage increased based on your current mana up to 6% at full mana. Mana regen is increased based on your current mana up to 20% when out of mana. Arcane Surge is now tracked on your personal resource display. Love baseline UI updates. The position of some talents changed in gates 1 and 2. For Sun Fury, Glorious Incandescence has been updated. Spells that consume Burden of Power summon a storm of meteorites at their target. Meteorites summoned this way grant 1 arcane charge upon landing. I know Sun Fury has, at least I think in PvP for sure, has not really been great. So trying to, help make this more competitively viable seems to be a goal of theirs. Burden of Power once again benefits Arcane Barrage. Burden of Power is now tracked on the personal resource display. All really good quality of life improvements here. Not nearly as big as the reworks we saw in my other video, which I'll have linked at the end of this one for Hunter, but definitely, good direction. For Fire's resource economy post the War Within has been too generous, which has made certain spells like Fireball and Scorch feel unnecessary, while also impacting how we can tune Power Blast and Flame Strike. Our goal here is to reduce your access to Phoenix Flame, and less so Fire Blast, while amping up your spenders to help increase skill expression, increase your reliance on casting, and make your exciting spells hit a bit harder. We'll be monitoring these changes and adjust accordingly. So they're going to make you cast more, which is usually a bad thing in PvP. And I think it's a bad thing in PvE too, if you have to stand still. But they don't like you just spamming only the instant spells and ignoring half the damage abilities to the point where you can probably take them off your bar. Heat Shimmer has been updated. No longer makes Scorch instant cast. Now increases the damage by 10%. Ooh. That's a big nerf. At least in PvP, that's a big nerf. Pyrotechnics has been updated. Critical strike chance increased to 20% up from 10. Controlled destruction has been updated. Now also triggers from Fireball. Master of Flame has been updated. Now increases Ignite and Fireball's damage by 15% when combustion is not active. So giving you more damage out of Combusto, I think, is going to feel nice. Call of the Sun King has been updated. No longer grants an additional charge of Phoenix Flames, and now grants 15% increased Phoenix Flames damage. Fire Blast cooldown increased to 14 seconds up from 12. Oh, we're getting cooldown increases on our instant spells too. Hyperthermia duration reduced to 5 down from 6. Pyroblast damage increased by 10%. Pyroblast mana cost reduced to 1.5 down from 2.5. Flame Strike's getting a 10% damage increase. Flame Strike mana cost reduced to 1.5. Sun King's Blessing damage increased to 280% for 260. Phoenix Reborn now refunds 1 Phoenix Flame charge down from 2. And Phoenix Reborn's Phoenix Flame's damage bonus increased to 200%. Okay, so you're definitely not going to be able to instant cast as much. So this is all dependent. Again, this is the first look at these changes for 11.1. I'm sure that they're going to change. So focusing too much into this might not be the best. I think just definitely testing out PTR. But if they want to take you in that direction, I think that they can get you there. But it's going to take a lot of tuning and feedback for that. So if you're a fire mage, make sure you're giving your feedback on that, because this seems really big. For Sun Fury, Glorious Incandescence, Fire Blast cooldown reduction increased to 2 seconds when a meteorite strikes. So they're trying to give you some of that instant cast damage back from Sun Fury, so you feel like you're more able to play this. Memory of Alar will now extend an existing hyperthermia instead of replacing it, which is nice. For Frost, Freezing Winds has been redesigned, now causes Frozen Orb to deal 15% more damage to units affected by your blizzard. Freezing Winds was impacting our ability to increase access to Frozen Orb or put more power in Fingers of Frost. With the addition of hero talents, Frost is more flooded with Finger of Frost than ever before, and we'd like to reduce Fingers of Frost's proc rate so it can feel more meaningful when you have it, while also giving us this, so they don't want Mage just spamming Ice Lance the whole time. You're getting a lot of blizzard damage, 100%, increasing its range and increasing its duration. Ice Lance empowers Fingers of Frost, no longer consuming Winter's Chill. Interesting. Glacial Assault's description has been updated to better communicate its effects. Permafrost Lance talent icon has been updated. So, bless me, man. It's going to be a long day of covering these changes. I promise you, these are some of the biggest ones I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, we're not even halfway through Mage yet at this point. So it's just reducing instant cast for Mage seems like overall what they're trying to do. Spellslinger, consuming Fingers of Frost or Winter's Chill now generates a Splinter, was Winter's Chill. Fingers of Frost not consuming Winter's Chill means that Spellslinger would not generate Splinters. In many situations, they would have previously. This adjustment is to make the flow of generating Splinters feel more consistent from your core rotation, while pulling back on the Splinter generation from ancillary effects. Splintering Orbs now generate 5 Splinters for Frost Mage, up from 6, or down from 6. The Splinter damage has been reduced by 10%. Splinter Storm has been reduced by 10%. Embedded Frost Splinter has been reduced by 10%. Unfortunately, I feel like you never played Spellslinger as Frost in PvP. I'm wondering if this is nerfs for PvP, but so Mage, maybe not the best news. We'll have to wait and see how the tuning goes, because, taking damage out of cooldowns, giving you more impactful hard-casted abilities, making your CC actually stick on targets, could end up feeling good and being better for the game overall. It's just a matter of actually hitting that number successfully and then designing the rest of the game around that playstyle appropriately. So monks are getting the same thing. Paralysis won't break to small amounts of damage. Mistweaver, what is going on with you guys? Looks like you're getting a lot of stuff. We're making several updates to Mistweaver, focused on smoothing out their healing output on varying target sizes and shifting rotation damage priority to a more intuitive space. When players should optimally use each offensive spell should be more obvious. Emperor's Favor, Sheilun's Gift healing is increased by 150%. It's cast. This is Lay on Hands. They're giving you Lay on Hands. Okay. Dance of the Wind has been redesigned. Now reduces physical damage taken by 10%, an additional 10% every 4 seconds until you receive a physical attack. I like that way better than Dodge. I like that way better than Dodge. Jade Empowerment has been redesigned. Increased Crackling Jade Lightning's damage by 2,000% to its primary target and cleaves to 4 additional targets by 25%. Elon's Whisper's Healing increased by 100%. Blackout Kick damage increased by 75%. They really want you to fist weave. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 30%. Jade Fire Awakening now causes Blackout Kick to cleave 2 additional enemies at 20% effectiveness with 70. Invoke GG, the Red Crane, now causes 3 Gust of Winds. Miss per target was 1, but only activates once per Blackout Kick and Rushing Wind Kick cast. Teachings of the Monastery, Blackout Kicks will continue to function to activate additional gusts, but not from their cleave damage. Sheilun's Gift talent location has been moved up above the final gate and now connects with Focused Thunder. So trying to make ease of use of playing Mistweaver a bit better. You get some really powerful instant healing and a lot of extra damage. So it seems like Fistweaver playstyle is definitely going to be on the board here. For Windwalker, new talent, Slicing Wind, envelop yourself in razor sharp winds, then lunge forward, dealing nature damage to enemy in your path. Damage reduced beyond 5 enemies. Is this literally the Plunderstorm ability? That sounds like the Plunderstorm ability, Slicing Winds. It literally is the name of it. They're giving you a Plunderstorm spell. I was telling you that they should do this. The Plunderstorm abilities are so good as far as like visuals and feel and how they set up, and I feel like that's like the path we need to start taking with ability. So you're actually getting a Plunderstorm ability. That is wild. Mastery combo strikes effectiveness increased by 35%. Developers notes, we're increasing the value of Mastery combo strikes for Windwalker monks with the goal of pushing it as a stat. Ooh. Increasing the value of it. So they really want you to do that. Dance of the Wind has been redesigned. Now reduces physical damage taken by 10%. Again, I like that over the dodge. All damage done, though, reduced by 2%. This seems really random. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 80%. Courageous Impulse now increases damage to Blackout Kick by 350%. They're probably going to nerf that retroactively. Shadow Boxing Treads now increases damage to Blackout Kick by 10%, down from 20. Oh, I see. So there's some trade-offs. The following talents have been removed. Darting Hurricane, Mark of the Crane. Conduit of the Celestials. Heart of the Jade Serpent no longer reduces the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick, and Heart of the Jade Serpent now reduces the cooldown of Flying Serpent Kick. So I think you're losing a bit of damage but gaining mobility in exchange for that. So interesting. I think getting that Slicing Wind ability could be really fun. I'm very curious to see what that plays out for you. For Paladin, Seal of the Crusader healing reduced by 50%. Lightforge Blessings now heals 1% down from 2. A Just Reward now has more Just Reward. Its healing increased by 140%. Blinding Light and Repentance now break on damage, a damage threshold, instead of breaking on any damage. Fortunately, the Paladins are still going to blind all your dots off, dot classes, and you're going to be mad about it. Herald of the Sun, Dawnlight now prefers players' targets over creatures and summons. Thank God. Nice quality of life improvement. Templar, Empyrean Hammer now prefers player targets over creatures and summons. Great. The Hammer of Light implementation has been revamped to resolve issues such as casting delays, tuning difficulties, and limited scalability of its infrastructure. Hammer of Light now displays the correct amount of damage done by its secondary target damage effect for the Retribution Paladin. So not a huge amount of stuff here. For Holy, though, Unbound Freedom. Blessing of Freedom increases movement speed by 30%, and you gain Blessing of Freedom when cast on a friendly target. Oh, is it not going to be a PvP talent anymore then? Maybe it's not already. I'm not sure 100%, but that's going to be nice for giving just everybody freedom. Unending Light has been redesigned. Now causes Holy Power spent on Word of Glory to increase the healing of Light of Dawn. Light's Conviction now additionally causes Holy Shock to refund half of its mana cost when cast offensively. Okay. Flash of Light mana cost reduced to 0.6. Thank God that spell sucked to press. But it's going to heal less. Okay. Holy Light's healing increased by 90%. Infusion of Light now increases the healing of Holy Light by 30% down from 100. So this is all getting offset. Infusion of Light now increases the healing of Flashlight by 30%, was reduced mana cost. Inflorescence of the Sunwell now increases Infusion of Light's healing, increased to Flash of Light by an additional 15%. It just seems like they're moving numbers around. Inflorescence of the Sunwell now increases the healing of Light, healing of Holy Light by an additional 15%, down from 50. Yeah, this is all just moving light around. Flash of Light and Holy Light have a lot of power tied into talents modifying their effects, and we'd like these spells to be more effective to cast without these talents. This is really good, man, because we've got over bloated with just modifier. Take power out of the modifiers, put them in the baseline spell. It's going to feel a lot better. I think that's really good. Echoing Blessings now increases movement speed. Duration of Blessing of Freedom by 30% was 15. Hammer of Anvil healing decreased by 20% for Lightsmith. More Lightsmith nerfs. Blessed Assurance now increases the damage of Crusader Strike by 20% down from 180. That's a lot. For Templar, for Holy Paladin, Undisputed Ruling has been updated. Hammer of Light grants Shield of the Righteous, erupts a consecration beneath its target, and increases your haste by 12% for 6 seconds. Additionally, Eye of Tears grants 3 Holy Power. Okay, this could be really good. For Retribution Paladin, Flash of Light healing is getting increased by 35%. I don't know if you still have instant flash procs or not. Word of Glory's mana cost has been increased to 15%. Healing Hands now only functions to increase Word of Glory's healing on the Paladin themselves, was increased healing on allies. Divine Toll will now cast Judgments at units near your main target, even if you're not in combat with them. Been worried about the aggro there, but I think that's where we're going to call it on this video, just because there's so many more classes that we need to cover here. So we're going to be uploading another video after this one, but very interesting, like quality of life improvements for Mage, Monk, cool Plunderstorm abilities, nice, iterations of, redistributing power on talent so far for these ones on Paladin. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching this update. Smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.